Hello, welcome back to Bajirao IAS Academy. So in this lecture we are going to discuss few important current affairs for 2024 upcoming preliminary examination. Now please understand I have compiled all those important current affairs in this lecture, and we will also try to discuss those current affairs in such a manner that they will be very important for your exam, and at the same time they will be helpful for you to clear this exam, because most important current affairs are being selected and then we are presenting those important current affairs in this particular lecture. And thank you so much for all of you for being with us. So let's try to start this discussion with the first very important issue, that is with respect to Sengol. So we all knew that the Sengol is very often in news. So it is very often discussed in last year, right? So this is how Sengol actually looks like. Now what was this Sengol? Now Sengol was in news because Prime Minister Narendra Modi actually holds this Sengol during the inauguration ceremony of our new parliament building. And in fact there was a lot of criticism with respect to the Sengol from different other sections, but it is part of a cultural heritage and therefore there is a probability that you may get question on this Sengol. And this Sengol is actually a historic spectre, right? So it has a lot of historical significance, this Sengol, and this Sengol is installed in this new parliament building. So we all knew that, so we have a new parliament building and this Sengol was installed in the new parliament building. Now from where this name Sengol has derived? So Sengol was derived from a Tamil word which means semi. So semi means the righteousness, the honesty, integrity. So semi essentially means righteousness in the Tamil language. And in fact the first instance of independent India where the Sengol came to the forefront was Pandit Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, accepted the Sengol on August 14th, 1947. That was one day before India's independence, through Adhinam of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so Pandit Nehru accepted this Sengol from the Adhinam of Tamil Nadu, and it was a sign of a shift of power from the Britishers to the people of India. Right now, during the Chola times also, this Sengol was used to symbolize a shifting of power from the one ruler to the another ruler. And to continue that practice, our first Prime Minister Pandit Nehru accepted this Sengol on August 14th, 1947, and that actually symbolizes shift of power from the British to India. And in fact, this tradition of transfer of power and even Sengol was prevalent in the Chola dynasty. So it was most prevalent during the Chola dynasty, and it is actually a symbol of the transfer of power from the one ruler to the other ruler, and it was the handover of the Sengol from one king to the another or his successor. Okay, yeah, sorry. So it actually indicates the transfer of power from the one ruler to the another ruler, and it was mostly prevalent during the Chola times. And in fact this Sengol has a Nandi on the top of it, and a Lord Nandi is actually a Lord Shiva's sacred bull. We all knew about that. So on the top, and it has been symbolizing that, what it has been symbolizing, so it has been symbolizing the transfer of power. Right, so this is about Sengol very briefly. And next very important next very important issue is geographical indication tags. Now we very often come across this geographical indication tags for different products. Now recently 7 different products from Uttar Pradesh have given the geographical indication tag. Now remember how UPSC may ask questions from this. So there is a probability that they just give different products and states. Okay, so different products and states, and you just you just have to identify whether the product is from that particular state or not. Okay, so it is basically a matching type questions that UPSC asks with respect to the geographical indication tags, and previously also UPSC has asked about this GI tags. So therefore it is important for us to understand which are the GI tag, or which of the products which have recently got this GI tag. Recently 7 products have got GI tag from Uttar Pradesh, and the first product was Amroha Dolak. Now if you wanted to see this Amroha Dolak, so this was the Amroha Dolak. Okay, so this is how the Amroha Dolak actually looks like. Now this Amroha Dolak is a musical instrument, and that is being made from the natural wood of a plant. So that includes mango, jackfruit, teak wood. So these are the different types of natural woods which are preferred for making these Amroha Dolaks. And after that there is also Bagpat home furnishings as well. So, okay, so these Bagpat home furnishings are actually exclusive handloom home furnishing products and running fabrics in cotton yarn. Okay, so Bagpat home furnishings has also got the GI tag from UP. And after that the Barabanki handloom products, and then Kalpi handmade paper. So these products have also got GI tag from UP. And after that we also have the Mahoba Gaura Pattar Hastashilp. So that was also a very famous GI tag that has got the very famous product that has got the GI tag. Okay, so it is a stone craft, and Gaura stone craft is actually made of a radiant white colored stone that is predominantly found in this region. This has also got the GI tag. And after that there is also Mainpuri Tarkash, and it is primarily a brass wire inlay work on the wood. So that is Mainpuri Tarkash, and it was mainly used for Kadaus. Kadaus actually means the wooden sandals, and they are actually a necessity for the every household, since leather was considered as unclean or impure. So this also belongs to the state of UP, and this has also got the geographical indication tag. And after that the Sambal horn craft from UP has also got this GI tag. Now when we talk about the geographical indication tag, so a GI tag is a sign which is being used on a wide variety of products. Now why the GI tag is essentially issued? So it indicates the specific origin of a product. For example, you are living in a particular region and any product which is being famous in your area, and in order to protect the purity of that particular product, the origin of the product, so the GI tag will be given so that no one will actually make the duplicate or less quality products to your product, so that the product remain competitive in the market. So that is the actual objective of issuing GI tag to any product. Okay, so they are being issued for a products with a specific geographical origin, and they also possesses qualities and reputation that are due to that particular origin from the place. And also understand and remember, this GI tag is valid for only 10 years. This is very important. The GI tag is valid for 10 years. And what was the nodal agency? What is the nodal agency which actually issues the geographical indication tags for different products? The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade of Ministry of Commerce and Industry actually issues this GI tag for the various different products, right? So next very important current topic is Wagnak. Either it is known as Wagnak or Bagnak, or if you are from if you follow this regular news, you get to know about this Wagnak that is being used by the Shivaji Maharaj while killing Afzal Khan. Okay, so that this is how the Wagnak actually looks. And even if you read Marathas, so you can come across this particular weapon called a tiny weapon called Wagnak. So this is how this looks like, and this is how you can wear this Wagnak in your fingers. And recently Maharashtra's Cultural Affairs Minister they signed a memorandum of understanding with the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, where this Wagnak that is being used by Shivaji Maharaj was placed. Okay, so in that particular museum, the Wagnak was placed. And this memorandum of understanding was signed to bring back the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's legendary Wagnak into the state of Maharashtra. In fact, a lot of India's heritage, cultural heritage, is being transported to Britain during the British times. Now, this was an attempt to bring back this Wagnak, which was being used by Shivaji Maharaj, into India. Now, the literal meaning of this Wagnak is tiger claws. So they actually look like tiger claws. And the Wagnak is a medieval claw-like dagger which was used across the Indian subcontinent during the medieval times. Now, in fact, this Wagnak was one of the most famous. It is also associated with the story where Maratha Emperor Shivaji killed Afzal Khan. So, using this Wagnak, Shivaji killed Afzal Khan. Now, in fact, this Afzal Khan was a Sultan of Bijapur's Adil Shahi Sultanate. Now, if you can look at this map, so somewhere here Bijapur Sultanate located, Bidar, and then Golconda, Ahmednagar. Okay, so this is Bijapur, and at that point of time, the Bijapur is ruled by Adil Shahi dynasty. Now, Adil Shahi dynasty has been facing threat from the Marathas under Shivaji due to frequent attacks by Marathas into the Adil Shahi Sultanate. So therefore, the Adil Shahi Sultanate sent one of his generals, Afzal Khan. So he was the Afzal Khan. So the Adil Shahi dynasty sent one of his general, Afzal Khan, to deal with the Shivaji. Okay. So in a daring attempt, Shivaji killed this Afzal Khan using this Wagnak at a meeting. Okay, so Shivaji sensed the deceit during a meeting with Afzal Khan, and he came prepared wearing this Wagnak. So under his robes, under his robes in the sense that, so he is wearing this Wagnak in his hands. And he also wore this chainmail head Wagnak in his sleeves. So the Wagnak reached London via a person named James Grant Duff. So he was an officer under the East India Company who served as the Satara State Company resident at that point of time. Okay, so this is about Wagnak. And next, very important, Global Hunger Index. So recently we get to know about this Global Hunger Index, and it is also very often in news because this Global Hunger Index, despite a lot of attempts from India to improve the food supply to the number of populations through buffer stock or through public distribution system and midday meal scheme. So we all knew about that, right? So through public distribution system and midday meal programs, we have been regularly providing food grains to the poor and people who are below poverty line. So despite making all those efforts, the Global Hunger Index still ranks India in a very poor category. So that is the cause of concern. And in fact, the Global Hunger Index is released by or published by, it is published jointly by Wealth, Hunger, Life and Concern Worldwide. So these two organizations together publish Wealth, Hunger, Life and Concern Worldwide. And in 2023, the Global Hunger Index ranked India 111th out of 125 countries. This is very poor ranking that India has got, 111th. Now, if you can look at all the countries, India is most populous country, and India has also been running one of the largest public distribution system in the world. And despite all these efforts, India is ranked very poorly. That is 111th out of 125 countries in the Global Hunger Index of 2023. Now, if you can look into the 2022 ranking of India, India was ranked 107th out of 121 countries. So therefore these rankings have actually shown that, or showing that, India has a higher levels of hunger and malnutrition. Now in this case, it is very important that you must remember who releases the Global Hunger Index, right? So Global Hunger Index is released by World Wealth, Hunger, Life and Concern Worldwide. So they jointly releases this Global Hunger Index. And now the other thing is that the Global Hunger Index actually captures 3 different dimensions. What are those 3 different dimensions captured by the Global Hunger Index while calculating the hunger across different countries? Now first dimension is insufficient availability of food grains. So whenever a person does not have the availability of food grains due to affordability issues, accessibility issues. Now poor availability or insufficient availability is one dimension which is being used for calculating the Global Hunger Index. And the second dimension is shortfall in the nutritional status of children. Now shortfall in the nutritional status actually includes malnutrition, right? So malnutrition, and then child wasting, child stunting. So all these factors or things comes under the declining or shortfall in the nutritional status of children. And even the child mortality also. So child mortality, under 5 mortality, so infant mortalities, all these factors are actually being used to calculate this Global Hunger Index. And it is said that India has been performing very poorly among all these dimensions, and because of that reason India was also ranked 111th out of 125 countries in the Global Hunger Index. And in fact, the index also includes the following 4 equally weighted indicators also. What are those indicators? First indicator is undernourishment. Now undernourishment in the sense that even though the food is available for the different groups of the people, but food lacks essential nutrients. And this is known as malnutrition, or this will lead to the malnutrition, or this is also known as hidden hunger, or this is also called as hidden hunger. Even though the food is available, but food is lacking the nutrients, and that is known as hidden hunger. And therefore this index actually includes following 4 weighted indicators. They are undernourishment, child stunting, child wasting and child mortality also. So these indicators are being used to monitor the Global Hunger Index. And next, a very important issue is Hakki-Pikki tribe. So this Hakki-Pikki tribe is recently in news because of the conflict or violence that has taken place in Sudan. And in fact, it is one of India's indigenous tribal group which is migrated to Sudan for the livelihoods. Now, so 31 tribals belonging to this Hakki-Pikki tribe. So understand, this is very, very important, right? So there's a probability that you may get question on this Hakki-Pikki tribe. Now 31 tribals who belong to this Hakki-Pikki are stranded in Sudan. Okay, so Sudan is an African country. So it is located in the center of the African continent. And recently Sudan is in news because violent clashes were erupted between powerful paramilitary forces and the country's armed forces. And because of that reason, the Hakki-Pikki tribe was stranded in Sudan. Now who are these Hakki-Pikki tribe? So Hakki in Kannada means bird and Pikki means catchers. So this essentially means they are bird catchers, and they are also a semi-nomadic tribe. So nomadism. Okay, so nomadism actually means in search of food, pastures. So those people migrate from one place to another place, right? So they were semi-nomadic tribe, and they are traditionally the bird catchers and the hunters. So that is being revealed from their name, that is Hakki-Pikkis. And in fact, it is one of the major tribal communities in Karnataka. So it is one of the major scheduled tribe in Karnataka, and they also reside in the western and southern states of India, mostly near the forest areas. And this particular community, the Hakki-Pikki tribe, migrated from the northern part of India, mainly from Gujarat and Rajasthan. And if you look at the concentration of this Hakki-Pikki tribe, now they mostly concentrated in the few parts of Karnataka, including Shivamogga, Devanagari, Mysore districts of Karnataka. And in fact, in India, the Hakki-Pikki tribe is also recognized as one of the scheduled tribe. So what kind of a language that they speak? So despite being surrounded by the Dravidian languages, what are those Dravidian languages? For example, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Telugu. So they are Dravidian languages. And now this Hakki-Pikki tribe are located in the Karnataka, right? Shivamogga, Devanagari and Mysore districts. So despite being surrounded by these Dravidian languages and living in the southern India, this Hakki-Pikki tribe, one distinct feature is that they still speak the Indo-Aryan languages, and their mother tongue was designated as Wagri by the scholars. Okay, Hakki-Pikki tribe's mother tongue is known as Wagri, and it is a Indo-Aryan language. For example, Sanskrit is an Indo-Aryan language. So Sanskrit is not a Dravidian language, but it is an Indo-Aryan language. So in a similar way, Wagri is also an Indo-Aryan language. And in fact, UNESCO has listed this Wagri as one of the endangered languages of the world. And in this image also you can clearly see this is a semi-nomadic or nomadic tribe of Karnataka, and they are bird catchers. And now in Sudan they are selling spices, herbal oils, both in India and abroad also. And they are stuck in Sudan due to military crisis or civil war in 2023. So just remember this Hakki-Pikki tribe. And next, a very important issue is government scheme is PM Janman scheme. Okay, so this is PM Janman scheme. So recently, Union Cabinet has provided approval for the Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan. So that is together is known as PM Janman. Okay, so just remember this, Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan. So this is essentially for the scheduled tribes who are living near the forest or living inside the forest areas, and this actually envisions the large scale development or the overall development of the people, especially the scheduled tribes people. And this particular Janman scheme actually aimed at providing PVTG households and habitations with few basic amenities. Now, what kind of an amenities that this provides? So basic facilities including safe housing, clean drinking water, sanitation will be provided for the people of scheduled tribes. And secondly, it will also improve access to education, health and nutrition will also be provided. And road and telecom connectivity, sustainable livelihood opportunities will also be provided for the people. So therefore, this initiative is part of Pradhan Mantri PVTG development mission. So earlier, the government already launched this Pradhan Mantri PVTG mission. So this was announced in 2023 Union Budget, and this PM Janman scheme is part of the PM PVTG development mission. Right, so it is part of PM PVTG development mission. So you have already understood that it provides basic amenities such as education, healthcare, nutrition, clean drinking water, sanitation, safe housing, along with connectivity and sustainable livelihood opportunities for the tribal people. Now briefly, we talk about this particularly vulnerable tribal groups. It is also important because UPSC has already asked about this particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So therefore, we will also briefly focus on this. Now, PVTGs are more vulnerable among all the tribal groups, right? So, if you look at all the scheduled tribes are further categorized into particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So these particularly vulnerable tribal groups have a very limited population, a declining population, lower levels of literacy rates, and lower level of social, economic and political development, and more isolated people, and they mostly dependent on agriculture sector. So all these categories of people are called as the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. right? So therefore we can say that when their population has been declining, they are more vulnerable among all the tribal groups that we know. And secondly, in 1975, the government of India declared 52 tribal groups as particularly vulnerable tribal groups based on the recommendations of this Debar committee. So just remember this Debar committee also. This is also very important. So based on the recommendations of this Debar committee, Union government in 1975 declared around 52 tribal groups. However, as of now, there are 75 such groups in. So, if you look at the previous year UPSC question, that they have clearly asked that there are 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups across India. So currently there are 75 such groups living in 22,544 villages across 18 states. Now this 18 states was asked, and at the same time this 75 PVTGs was also asked. So now all these PVTGs are living in 18 states and one union territory, totaling about 28 lakh PVTGs together. And in fact, this is also very important that Odisha has the highest number of the particularly vulnerable tribal group people. So Odisha has more than 2.5 lakh individuals who belong to the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Now, what are the major characteristics how any tribal group is categorized as the PVTG? So they can be categorized as PVTG based on the following things. So one was a stagnant or declining population is the one factor. Alright. So the population has been either stagnant or declining. And the second thing was technology. So pre-agricultural primitive technology which is being used in the agriculture sector, and they have extremely low levels of literacy rate. And the economy was also subsistence economy. Now what is the subsistence economy? Now subsistence economy actually means whatever you produce only for the consumption purpose, right? So subsistence farming or subsistence agriculture is actually means production for consuming, of production only for consumption, not for trade. Now that is known as the subsistence economy or subsistence level farming. Now if you look at the variance in population of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, there are a lot of variations that have been taking place in recent times. Now what are those variations? Now this population sizes of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups have been significantly vary from under 1,000 in some groups such as Great Andamanis around 50, right? So Great Andamanis tribal group is around 50 individuals only. And Onges, another tribal group from the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and their populations ranging from 100 only. So this essentially means that the population is either stagnant or declining population. That is being evident from these tribal groups. And to over 1 lakh others such as Maria Gond in Maharashtra and Saura in Odisha. Right? So all these particularly vulnerable tribal groups have a huge variations in their populations ranging from 50 individuals, 100 individuals, and even 1 lakh individuals more also. Right? So even Maria Gond of Maharashtra and Saura in Odisha has also classified as particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And in fact, some tribes in central India like Birho tribe, so they actually face the stagnation. Now stagnation actually means that now they have a constant population rates. There is no increase in the population. Now stagnant population, if they continues to maintain this stagnant population, and over a period of time the population starts declining. And this Birho tribe of this central India actually faces the threat of stagnation, while Onges and Andamanis are experiencing a decline. So from the population explosion, stagnation, and then decline, and now these Andamanis and Onges of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the population has been significantly declining. Now as I have already told you that PM Janman is part of PM Vulnerable Tribal Groups mission, PM PVTG mission. Now this PM PVTG mission actually provides all basic amenities for the people who are living in the tribal areas. So therefore, the facilities include education, healthcare, connectivity, sanitation, all those facilities. So therefore, it provides them an opportunity to increase their population, increase their literacy levels, and even they come out of this stagnant or subsistence level of farming, all those things. And for that, government has allocated around 24,000 crore rupees of budget, and it has been targeting 75 particularly vulnerable. Remember this, there are 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups in 18 states and 1 union territory. Just remember this, 18 states and 1 union territory, that was Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And next very important article is Black Sea Grain Deal. Okay, so this Black Sea Grain Deal is also in news in recent times, and this is particularly in the context of the Russia-Ukraine war. So because of the Russia-Ukraine war, the Black Sea Grain Deal was in news. So therefore you have to remember, because previously UPSC has asked about this port of Odisha, right? So in a similar way, the Black Sea Grain Deal is also very, very important here. Now, if you go to the context of this particular issue, is that we all knew that Ukraine and Russia are known as the wheat bowl of the world, and due to the Russia-Ukraine war, the food imports from Russia and Ukraine were actually stopped, and that has resulted in significant increase in the wheat prices across the world, and that has also created challenges for the food security because of the limited availability of the wheat. I hope you have understood this. Now Russia and Ukraine are known as the wheat bowl of the world, and due to Russia-Ukraine war, what happened? There was a disruption in the supply of wheat to the global markets. So enough wheat was not supplied to the global markets due to the Russia-Ukraine war, and that has resulted in the increasing wheat prices across the world, and that has further threatened the global food security. So therefore, UN and other like-minded countries have come together to find out a solution to this issue, reduce the wheat prices and enhance the wheat availability, and also provide food security for the majority of our population. So therefore, the last ship which is carrying grain from Ukraine under this UN brokered deal. So this UN brokered deal guarantees the safe passage of the ships or the vessels which have been carrying wheat through the Black Sea. So we all knew that Black Sea shares its borders with both Russia and Ukraine. So this Black Sea grain deal is brokered by the United Nations. Now while these ships taking grain out of the Ukrainian buffer stocks, either Ukraine or Russia should not attack those vessels, and this was the agreement, and it was brokered by United Nations. So that ensures the safe passage of the wheat ships that left port of Odisha, and this deal was set to expire. So that was expired in last year July 17, and Russia has still not agreed to extend this particular deal. Now what was the geographical location of the Black Sea? So it is very important for us to understand where it was located, where the Black Sea was located. Now you can clearly see that this is Black Sea and this is the Odisha port of Ukraine. And in fact, as part of Russia-Ukraine war, Russian military advanced up to Odisha port, and they have also tried to occupy this Odisha port as well. Okay, so this is where this Odisha port is located, and this is Sea of Azov, and Black Sea shares its borders with both Ukraine as well as Russia, and along with the Ukraine it also shares its borders with Romania, Bulgaria and Turkey. Sorry, Bulgaria and Turkey and all these countries, right? So therefore this UN broker deal actually guarantees the safe passage of ships from the port of Odisha. Now remember this. Okay, so geographical location of the Black Sea, where it was located. The Black Sea lies between the continents of Asia and Europe. Okay, so this is the continent of Asia. Okay, so this is the Asia and this is Europe. So therefore we can say that it is located between the continents of Asia and Europe. Secondly, it is bound to its west by the Balkan Peninsula. Now on the west of this, for example, this is how the Black Sea is located, and on the west of the Black Sea is Balkan Peninsula, right? So on the western side, peninsula. So on the western side there will be Europe, and the eastern side there will be Asia, right? So on the western side there will be a Balkan Peninsula, and then on the southeastern Europe, Balkan Peninsula and southeast Europe also. And to the east of this Black Sea is Caucasus Mountains. Okay, so there are also important mountains, and they are called as Caucasus Mountains in the Central Asian region on the eastern side of Black Sea. And in the north by East European Plains. Okay, so East European Plains lies in the north of the Black Sea, and in the south of the Black Sea is Anatolia of the Western Asia. Okay, so Anatolia is located in the Turkey, right? So this is Western Asia's Anatolia. So this is how the Black Sea is actually located in between two different continents. And in fact the Black Sea is bordered by Ukraine to its north. So somewhere here there will be Ukraine, and Russia in the northeast, and Georgia in the east, Turkey in the south, and Bulgaria and Romania in the west. Okay, so that is the geographical location of Black Sea. Now Black Sea is very, very important. You have to identify all the countries which are surrounding Black Sea, because there is a probability that you may get questions on Black Sea and countries bordering Black Sea also. Now what is this Black Sea grain deal that is in news? So in July 2022, Russia and Ukraine signed this Black Sea grain deal mediated by the United Nations, and this particular deal ensures a reopening of grain exports from Ukrainian Black Sea ports. Now as I have already told you that Russia and Ukraine are the global wheat baskets. Okay, so global wheat bowls, because majority of the wheat is produced in those two countries, and because of a war the wheat supplies are being disrupted. Okay, so this deal will ensure exports from Ukrainian Black Sea ports to the rest of the world, and no one will attack the ships which are carrying the wheat, and this was brokered by the United Nations. And in fact this agreement between Russia and Ukraine and other countries is known as Black Sea Initiative. Now under this initiative the cargo ships would be allowed to travel from 3 Ukrainian ports. Okay, so the cargo ships which are actually carrying wheat or any other essential food supplies are allowed to travel from 3 Ukrainian ports of Odessa. Okay, so this was the Ukrainian port of Odessa, and then Konomorsk. Okay, so this is Konomorsk, and then Pivdeni. So these were 3 important ports, and these vessels are being allowed from these 3 important ports after inspection that they weren't carrying any arms, whether going through the Black Sea or bringing grains from out of Black Sea from Ukraine. So they will not carrying any arms. The control center was established at Istanbul. Okay, so this was the place where this control center was established, because from the Black Sea, so they enter into the Sea of Marmara. Okay, so there are also 2 important states, state of Bosphorus and state of Dardanelles. Okay, so this is Sea of Marmara, and from Sea of Marmara they enter into the Aegean Sea. And this control center was established at Istanbul, and this was staffed by United Nations, Turkish, Russian and Ukrainian officials to run and coordinate the process of this Black Sea Grain Initiative. And next very important article is with respect to Operation Ajay. Now Operation Ajay is also very often in news, and we all knew that last year in October Hamas attacked Israel. So Hamas was a armed militant group of Gaza Strip. So this is also very important that you have to remember where this Gaza Strip is located and where this West Bank is located, right? So Hamas is a militant group which is based in the Gaza Strip, And what Hamas aim is that, so it wanted to create an independent state of Palestine through an armed struggle, right? So it wanted to create an independent state of Palestine through armed struggle. So for that particular purpose, Hamas was created, and it is based in Gaza Strip of Palestine. Now recently Hamas attacked the civilians of Israel. That has resulted in a war between Hamas and Israel. Okay, so India actually reiterated its call for the creation of a sovereign Palestinian state. Now, in fact, India actually stands for the two-state solution, right? The two-state solution actually gives a priority to the existence of two states peacefully, settling all their bilateral issues. And in fact, India traditionally stands for this two-state solution. Now, it is also very important, just remember that the two-state solution is in news in recent times in the context of which of the following countries. Okay, so this two-state solution is in the context of Israel and Palestine. Okay, so Israel and Palestine, right? So these statements came as India sending a chartered flight to bring back Indian nationals under Operation Ajay. Now, Operation Ajay is because of the safe rescue of the people who are stranded in Israel and bring back them out of Israel. Because of this, because of Israel-Hamas war. And Operation Ajay is not technically an evacuation operation. So we cannot call this as an evacuation operation. Rather, it is an operation to repatriate its citizens from Israel. So we are just bringing our citizens from Israel, but we cannot call this as an evacuation operation. And in fact, special flights were sent to Israel to bring back Indian citizens who were stranded in Israel under this Operation Ajay. So just remember this Operation Ajay in the context of evacuation of Indians from this Israel. And next, a very important article is with respect to recent Indonesia's Marapi volcano eruption. Okay, so Indonesian archipelago is essentially based or situated in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay, so it is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now this Pacific Ring of Fire is actually an area, so this is how it is located across the Pacific Ocean, right? So this Pacific Pacific Ring of Fire is volcanically very active region. So since volcanically active region, volcanic eruptions very frequently takes place, and this Indonesian archipelago is mostly located across this Pacific Ring of Fire, and that is one reason for the very frequent volcanic eruptions taking place in Indonesia. So the recent eruption in Mount Marapi, so this Mount Marapi is located in Indonesia, just remember this. Okay, because please understand that Mount Marapi, and UPSC may give another country. Okay, for example, UPSC may confuse you with giving a country called Spain. So therefore you just remember that Mount Marapi is in Indonesia, and it is a volcanically active mountain, and in fact it is one of the deadliest since 1979. And this Mount Marapi is a volcanic mountain, and it is located near the center of island of Java in Indonesia, right? So it is located in the island of Java in the Indonesia, and in fact it is located on Sumatra. So Sumatra is the westernmost, for example, right? So for example, if you look at the Indonesian islands, so Sumatra is very close to India, right? Sumatra, Java, and then somewhere here you can also find Borneo, right? It's Java and Borneo, and Sumatra is very close to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Sumatra is the place where this Malacca state is also located. It is located on the Sumatra, and it is also a westernmost and third largest of Indonesia's 18,000 different islands. So since Indonesia is comprising of 18,000 islands in the Pacific Ocean, or in the confluence of Pacific and Indian Ocean along with the South China Sea, so because of that reason it is known as Indonesian archipelago. So this Mount Marapi, which means mountain of fire, the meaning of Mount Marapi is the mountain of fire, is among the most active of Indonesia's all. Indonesia is having around 127 volcanoes, and therefore this Mount Marapi is one of the most active and one of the deadliest of all the volcanoes of Indonesia, and it is also very popular among the hikers. So someone who hikes these volcanoes or mountains. So Indonesian archipelago, it sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire. I have explained you what exactly is this Pacific Ring of Fire. So where the meeting of continental plates causes a high volcanic and seismic activity. And in this Pacific Ring of Fire, the different plates in the Pacific Ocean, they actually either converge, diverge, or transform boundaries are existing in the Pacific Ocean, and because of that reason the Pacific Ocean is most volatile and volcanic, and it is seismically active region. And next important article issue is about global partnership on artificial intelligence. This is also very important, right? So this is an international initiative that was established to guide a responsible development and use of artificial intelligence, so in a manner that respects human rights and also the shared democratic values, right? See, this is all about the artificial intelligence, and there will be a global partnership for the responsible development and use of artificial intelligence. So for that particular purpose, this partnership was launched, and this partnership was first proposed by two countries, so which were Canada and France. So these two countries were first proposed this global partnership on artificial intelligence at 2018 44th G7 summit, and it was officially launched in 2020, right? So it was started with 15 member countries initially. Now today the global partnership on artificial intelligence has actually grown into an alliance of around 23 countries. Now the other significant thing that you have to understand with respect to the global partnership on artificial intelligence is that India is also one of the party to the global partnership on artificial intelligence, right? So this includes countries like India, United States, UK, France, Japan and Canada. So all these countries are members of the global partnership on artificial intelligence. Now remember, from the exam perspective, exam point of view, this is very important. And after that, China is a major tech superpower and it is not part of the multilateral grouping. Now China is not part of the global partnership on artificial intelligence, but on the other hand 29 member countries including India, United States, UK, France, Japan, Canada were part of this global partnership on artificial intelligence. So this global partnership on artificial intelligence is hosted by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. OECD hosted this global partnership on artificial intelligence. And next, a very important article is with respect to greenwashing. Now what exactly is this greenwashing? Now greenwashing is actually the environmental whitewashing, and it is the manipulation of companies' products to create a false impressions or misleading information about their environmental impact. Now, so just understand that, imagine company A, and company A actually produces any product. For example, it produces cosmetics. Company A produces cosmetics and sells cosmetics in the market. So however, when this company A is selling these cosmetics in the market, it actually advertises these cosmetics as green in nature. So these cosmetics, while manufacturing these cosmetics, they will not pollute, contaminate the environment, and they are also completely green in nature despite they are not being green. So company A advertises these cosmetics as completely green, so that gradually increasing their overall market, because see, now consumers
have been becoming more and more aware about the green products and importance of using these green products. So since consumers are become more and more aware about this green products, so these companies are very often manipulating their products as green products, thereby benefiting from the growing environmental consciousness. And in fact, it is a form of whitewashing where false information is being used to conceal the wrongdoings of unpleasant situations. Okay, so wait.
Yeah, sorry.
Now just in this case you just have to remember what is greenwashing exactly means. Okay, so what is greenwashing? You just have to remember that one. Okay, so this tactic is very often used to capitalize on the growing demand for environment friendly products. Okay, so because consumers have also been demanding the environmentally sound and environmental friendly products, and because of that reason these companies, despite not making these products in a greener manner, but they are selling these products whitewashing as eco-friendly and sustainable products, thereby gradually capturing the market of environmentally conscious consumers. Okay, so in fact they perceived as more natural, healthier and less wasteful. And next very important article is about Central Information Management System. So recently RBI has developed this Central Information Management System, and in fact the Central Information Management System is a cloud based system, and this information system improves the efficiency of its regulatory reporting system. Now in this context, understand this RBI is top regulator of banking in India, right? So therefore this actually improves the efficiency of its regulatory reporting system. And the Central Information Management System is a data warehouse, and that actually helps with the data flow management, and it will also allow banks and other regulated entities to submit the regulatory reports electronically. Now they are allowed to submit these regulatory reports electronically. And this Central Information Management System will initially focus on reporting by scheduled commercial banks, and will later expand to urban cooperative banks and non-cooperative banks. And this is also very very important for your exam perspective. So these statements can be directly asked in the questions. The Central Information Management System is intended to strengthen the regulatory supervision, monitoring and enforcement by the RBI. Okay. See, since it regulates all the banking in India, the Central Information Management System is a cloud-based system, and it also improves the regulatory reporting system by the banks. So it will initially focus on reporting by the scheduled commercial banks, and later it will be extended to different other banks. And so it actually strengthens RBI's regulatory supervision, RBI's monitoring, RBI's enforcement of various norms. And next, so there is another important initiative from the RBI, that is Udgam portal. Okay, so this portal is known as Udgam portal. Now what exactly is this Udgam portal? So it was launched by RBI, Reserve Bank of India, just remember this, and it is a centralized web portal. Udgam portal is a centralized web portal, and it is an unclaimed deposits gateway to access information. Unclaimed deposits gateway access information, that is Udgam, for the public to search for their unclaimed deposits across multiple banks at one single place. Okay, so they can search for this deposits, unclaimed deposits across multiple banks at one single place, and for that particular purpose they have RBI launched this centralized web portal Udgam. Okay, So this was launched by our Udgam portal. This Reserve Bank of India's Information Technology Private Limited, Indian Financial Technology and Allied Services, and participating banks have actually collaborated in developing this particular portal. And apart from that, this particular portal, Udgam portal, will also enable the users to either claim the deposit amount, or make their deposit accounts operative at the respective banks. Now, what is the definition of these unclaimed deposits? Now, unclaimed deposits actually includes, it refers to funds held in savings account or current account that have remained inactive for more than 10 years, or in the case of the fixed deposits, so they have not been withdrawn within 10 years from the maturity date. Okay, so these are known as the unclaimed deposits of the RBI, and Udgam portal was launched to claim these unclaimed deposits by the account holders at one single place. And in fact, RBI has also launched this 100 days 100 pays campaign as part of this unclaimed deposit settlement. Okay, so what exactly is this 100 days 100 pays campaign? So this campaign was launched by whom? RBI launched this campaign, and the objective of this campaign is settling 100 unclaimed deposits of every bank in every district within 100 days. Now that is the objective of this Udgam or 100 days 100 pay campaign. And in fact, these amounts will also be transferred into the Depositor Education and Awareness Fund maintained by the Depositor Education and Awareness Fund. Okay, so the unclaimed deposits will be transferred into this particular fund, and this fund is maintained by the Reserve Bank of India. Now just remember, this is very, very important. So after that, the depositors can also claim the deposits at a later date from the banks where they were held, along with the interest which is being payable by the bank on those unclaimed deposits. The total amount of these unclaimed deposits transferred to the RBI was around 35,000 crore till February 2023, and this was the campaign, that's 100 days 100 pays campaign of RBI. And next important article is with respect to the de-dollarization of the global economy. Now what is this de-dollarization? Now de-dollarization actually refers to a process wherein all the countries they try to reduce their dependence on US dollars. For example, now imagine that if India wanted to import anything from Middle East, so India wanted to import crude oil from Middle East. Now we have to pay Middle East in US dollars. They won't accept Indian rupee. Rather, we have to pay, for our imports, we used to give them the dollars. So when we are disproportionately dependent on US dollars for imports, there is a chance that in the long term that would disrupt global trade. And in fact, global trade is also highly vulnerable to the US policy decisions. And because of that reason, now countries have been moving away from the dollar as a reserve currency. Now here you have to highlight this reserve currency, and now they don't want to use US dollar as a medium of exchange, also a unit of account. Now what exactly is this reserve currency? We'll try to understand this. So reserve currency is actually a foreign currency, so that is held by the central banks to facilitate international transactions and stabilize exchange rates and even bolster the financial confidence. Okay, so for example, imagine country A and country B, and country A importing the crude oil. So country A importing crude oil from country B. Now we have to pay US dollars to country B instead of rupees, or instead of their own domestic currency, because US dollar as a global currency is accepted everywhere. Okay, so that would facilitate international transactions. And even US dollars can also be used to stabilize the exchange rates. For example, imagine that our currency is rupee. Now our currency value is declining. If it is declining further, then suddenly RBI would intervene, pumping in US dollars into the market. So therefore that will help us stabilize the Indian rupee. Okay, so and at the same time bolster financial confidence also. So this attempts to dethrone the dollar as a global reserve currency is primarily because of US very frequently imposing sanctions on different countries, and recent attempt was its sanctions on Iran and even its sanctions on Russia also. So since US imposed sanctions on Iran, so we stopped importing oil from Iran. So that has also impacted our bilateral relations as well. Okay, so that has also largely impacted our bilateral relations. And Russia's US sanctions on Russia has also impacted us. So because of these things, we don't want different countries have been actually supporting the de-dollarization of the de-dollarization bid of the global economy, right? So in fact BRICS group of countries have also come up with this de-dollarization of global economy bid. So next we'll talk about this connected lending. So what exactly is this connected lending? So RBI recently planning to bring the unified regulatory framework for this connected lending for the regulated entities. Now what exactly is this connected lending? So according to World Bank, connected lending is the extension of credit to individuals or firms which are actually connected through the ownership. Okay, for example, imagine that there is a firm or a company A, and this company is headed by person Z. Now according to World Bank definition, connected lending is the extension of credit to individuals. So credit is being given to the individuals or firms connected through the ownership. Okay, so they are actually connected with the ownership or the ability to exert control, or whether direct or indirect control. And examples of these connected parties include firm's parent, major shareholders, subsidiaries, affiliated companies, directors, executive officers. So everything comes under this connected lending. Okay, so these firms are also connected where they are controlled by the same family or same group. So the connected lending is very briefly means that loans extended by bank to its owners or managers, any loan which is being extended by the financial institutions such as banks to its owners or managers, to their related businesses, on terms softer than the market determined terms. Now the terms would be bit softer, the loans terms, all those things would be bit softer compared to the other aspects. Okay, so that is known as connected lending, and through connected lending RBI has been planning to bring a unified regulatory framework for that. So as I have already told you that RBI is the overall regulator of the banking system in India. So the next very important article is issue is National Coal Index. So this National Coal Index is a price index, so which reflects the change in price level of the coal on a particular month relative to the fixed base year. So for example, there will be a base year. For example, 2015 is considered as a base year, and this National Coal Index is a overall price index, so that indicates the fluctuations in the prices of coals. Okay, so that also reflects the overall changes of the levels of coal, price levels of coal on a particular month relative to the one fixed base year. And in fact, the price index, the coal index or the price index combines the prices of coal from all the sales, so including notified prices, auction prices, and import prices. That is what you have to remember here.
So this index was launched in June 4th, 2020, and this index also aims to accurately reflect market prices for the base year 2017 and 2018. And the concept and design of this coal index as well as representative prices have been developed by the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. So this Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, has developed this national coal index and the representative prices of this coal index. So this index is meant to encompass all transactions of raw coal in the Indian market. And apart from that, this national coal index also includes cooking and non-cooking varieties of different coal, and which are being transacted in regulated power and fertilizer and non-regulated sectors. Okay, so that's all about the national coal index. So that's it in this lecture, and thank you so much for being with us, and sorry for this electricity problem. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit the like button. Thank you.